Welcome, stars. Welcome to Allastrology. My name is G. Full moon for April. Unity in the community and a oneness, right? A oneness that says, doesn't matter how far away you are, doesn't matter what your religion, doesn't matter what your culture is, doesn't matter what color of your skin. We are all one. The programming is changing. We're going to let go of that belief, that old belief that we got from childhood when someone said, "Oh, didn't anybody tell you Halloween was over and you still have your mask on? You should take it off." You know, like those silly jokes, those cruel things kids say to each other. And so somebody might have held on to that, or something a family member said. And so you might still be holding on to some of those old programs. It's time for an update. It's time to let that go. It's time to reboot. It's time for a reset. It's time to refresh your browser. What I want you to pay close attention to, I'm going to go back a day. April 16th, April 17th. We have some fascinating events beginning. Yes, the full moon doesn't begin then, but I can't ignore these. April 16th, April 17th, what do you see? You see Mercury conjunct the sun. The sun is those who are in charge, authority figures. Mercury is conjunct that, which means they're having a conversation. They're in Aries, so it's conversations about my body. Definitely, Mars rules this, so actions with my body, things about our appearance. We're going to be hearing some information about that. We have Chiron still being trined by the node. The nodes move very slow. So for a while, we're going to have Chiron trining the node. Okay. You see the nodes at 9:55. It's not a fast mover. You know, lots of information about my body. Venus, April 13th, tomorrow, actually, Venus will be nearing the end of her journey in Aries energy. So when we get to April 14th, right, we've got Venus at 0 degrees in Taurus. So the sisters talk. Mercury and Venus, I call them sisters. Yes, I know astrologers, if you're listening. Mercury is typically spoken about as a masculine energy, which it is. There's an imbalance in that, though. And so I've talked about this in the past. Just bear with me. I call this Mercury, I don't know for how long, for however long it comes through to me, that it's more a feminine energy. Yes, even Mercury especially this Mercury in Aries, because we have Eris. I know it's not on this chart, but we have Eris at 23, 24 degrees in Aries energy, conjunct, right? The sun will have been touching it at that point, and the new moon really highlighted Eris energy. Eris energy, all about the feminine warrior, the female Mars, the female that says, "I'm not going to mince words anymore. I'm stepping up to the table. I will be heard." Venus goes into Taurus, which is our values and our money, which you see Venus moving fast will then touch on Uranus, and Mercury will catch up. Okay, so what we're seeing is there's going to be a change in conversation. There's going to be information coming through about our values, right? But we're going to be hearing more details about the money and our values. That is definitely going to be happening. Mars has pulled away from the Neptune square, so that helps. It absolutely helps. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to move up now and just keep your eyes on all of this over here. This is Uranus in Taurus, Venus in Taurus. You see that? This is Taurus energy right here. The sun at 26 now. So with the sun at 26, folks, the sun at 26 is squaring Pluto exactly. Okay, so honestly, April 14th, April 15th, April 16th, you've got the sun within orb of squaring Pluto. This is people in charge. Okay, because this is the authority figure. This is somebody also in charge. There's many points in a chart, many planets that light up as people in charge. However, Pluto rules. Pluto has more power than all the other planets, as tiny as Pluto is. So when Pluto is having a conversation with this, Pluto is showing us, it's uncomfortable. It's a square. It's very uncomfortable. So we're going to be hearing things that are very uncomfortable. Pluto sends a beam of energy to the sun. So you may find you may feel a bit amped up. Your Mars energy may feel amped up, which could be very good for many folks. Just make sure, and I have to mention this, I haven't mentioned it yet, and I was actually going to be saving it for the full moon part, but here's the thing, folks. I want you to think back to March 24th. Think back to March 24th of 2021. Think back to maybe March 23rd. Think back to that day, to those days, and even up until now. Mars, our transiting Mars, has been out of bounds. Okay, so when a planet, I haven't talked about out of bounds planets for a while. There's just so much to talk about in astrology, and I'm going to be totally honest with you. It kind of slipped off my radar. I've been paying attention to Mars big time, and I've noticed an increase of internal assertions within myself, meaning I've been saying to folks, if you're going to have a conversation, expect to hear the truth during these times. Because Mars in Gemini is not only impatient, doesn't want to hear repetition, okay, because it's very impatient. If it's going to spend its time talking about something, it's going to say what it sees. It's going to speak what it feels. It's not going to hold back. It's not going to sugarcoat it. There is no candy canes to put on top. There's no sprinkles. There's no rainbows. There's no ice cream. There's no chocolate syrup to make it look better, to taste better. This is that. This is an out of bounds Mars, okay? And the out of bounds Mars began in March 24th, 2021. What does out of bounds Mars mean? If you know, comment that below. Get that to me. What does Mars being out of bounds mean? For that matter, what does any planet being out of bounds mean? If you know, please comment below. Mars being out of bounds, it will last all the way until May 28th. So yes, we will have an out of bounds Mars for the full moon in Scorpio at the end of this month. So what does Mars's out of bounds energy mean? Well, when any planet goes out of bounds, what happens is it intensifies its meaning. But a Mars, out of bounds Mars in Gemini, you can expect intense communication. You can expect people just acting without thinking, speaking without thinking, not hesitating, and just going ahead and doing. Mars is typically a malefic sign, folks. So malefic means it can, Mars, when we think about the body, because it does represent our body, it is the symbol for the body in the zodiac. It can increase inflammation in the body. In Gemini, definitely lungs, folks. Pandemic energy, lungs. You know, people have had really bad allergies. This is also that. This is also any respiratory thing. So pneumonia, right? People who have asthma. Yes, the allergy season. But just know you're dealing with a lot. There's a lot on our plate energetically. So Mars will end its out of bounds May 28th.